Greetings and salutations, Michigan Ultimate Survivor League owners. It is I, James L. Seagraves, coming to you live at 7:05, so I should call this podcast. It's a couple days later than normal, but hey, it's, you know what they say, Cassandra, better late than never, am I right? So anyway, it's going to be kind of a playoff preview podcast, but still so many things that can happen. We're not going there officially yet. But as I said last podcast, the closer we get to the end of the year, the less we focus on some of this shit stuff. Sorry, NSFW. You got your bottom 20 teams. Yeah, all these guys suck. What else can I say? They've had a bad year. Hey, Ryan Frazier's Kryptonite and Wash No Names actually submitted significant lineups, one way or the other. And they still, Ryan Frazier's Kryptonite still couldn't win, unfortunately. He's 0-8, looking for that Detroit Lions in opposite of perfection season. Could be the first team ever. We're going to go up to the top 20, but again, we're not going to spend too much time because really, at this point, this doesn't matter all that well. We'll look at the top 5, in fact. You know what? Let's start at 15 here because 15, Brady's backup. This is worth talking about. Brady's backup was number 4 last week and was playing Miss Orange Man and Hot Wife, no question mark, so it really sounds like it's 2 people. But they did not submit a lineup. So at 104, I'm looking at the schedule thing, and I'm like, holy shiza, Manelli. How did this guy, who is number 4, and I just talked to his parents at a party, super spreader event potentially, and he's like, oh man, he's so excited, he's so hyped on his team, Then the kid doesn't submit a lineup. You gotta be kidding me. Renly, you're serious right now? He doesn't care. You might be able to hear TikTok in the background. I apologize in advance. So anyway, at 104, I have to go through and do my randomizing. Maybe 102. It's shortly after kickoff. The bottom line is your lineup's not in by 1 o'clock. You get randomized. No ifs, ands, or buts. Not even a few buts. Big ones. So what had happened was I submitted his lineup. It was not a phenomenal lineup, as you can guess, as Aaron King, who probably is not watching this podcast, but Mr. Proposal himself. Hope everything's going okay with you, by the way, Aaron King. Gary's probably watching this. It was not a great lineup, and he did not win. And then at about 125, Tony Cromwell, Brady's backup's father, sends me a message and, hey, George Spindle's lineup, it didn't go through. And he had some video of something. I don't know how you have a video of you submitting your lineup, but that was weird. It was like the Zapruder film. But nevertheless, there are no exceptions. I mean, at that point, there's nothing we could do. So, unfortunately, Brady's backup was given a randomized team, and he lost. And that loss cost him dearly because not only did he lose, but he now finds himself at the bottom of the pack of the 6-2 squads. Now, that being said, being 6-2, you're still pretty good in the playoff hunt. We'll look at the, sorry about the throat clearing, but, everyone's got something or other. Bottom of the 6-2 pack. Looking at the playoffs, we'll see where he's at in the standings. Everyone's 6-2 with 4 exceptions. 99% luck, 1% heart. I could not beat him this week, and it cost me dearly. My season is over, essentially. Whispering Eyes finally happened. The number 1 team lost. He was undefeated. He lost this week. You Feeling Lucky Punk, number 3. And Dawaiians, Gary King, the aforementioned Gary King, is now once again the number 1 team in the nation. So, that's it. We're not going crazy on this right now because it's getting time. We got 3 games left. Right? Yeah, 3 games left. My Phineas and Ferb coffee mug I've had forever, by the way. I don't know if you can see this, but it's pretty classic. Phineas and Ferb, great show. Haven't watched it in probably 5 years, but it's a great show. I have a chair that was broken by a family member, and I can't lean back, so I'm going to be adjusting myself constantly. Anyway. So here we go. Man. And you want to know why I didn't do a podcast last 2 days? I could barely breathe. Here we go. We're looking at the standings, folks. We're looking at a breakdown here. We're going to start with the Lebowski Conference. Now, I went through and kind of did some of the previews ahead. Still way too many variables out there. So probably next week we will do a comprehensive what-if situation. So be ready for that. But what we can tell you right now is a lot of how much longer will liberalism be legal are the top two teams. They're 6-2. I do believe they played each other. A lot of Nope, sorry, they play each other in week 10. So this is huge, folks. This is 2 weeks from now. This game in week 10 will be how much longer will liberalism be legal, and a lot of Win or lose this week, this game is going to be important because that's going to whoever wins that game will have the tiebreaker. If they both win this week, that means it's going to be obviously huge. If one loses, one wins. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios that can play out, but the fact that these two are playing each other spells bad news for the rest of that conference because Pay Calvin His Money and Tenacious D, well, the 4-4 teams, you might as well say, are out of it because these two teams will play each other. So it means the worst they can do is go 1-2, which make them 7-4. One of these guys have to win out. It's technically possible, yes. It's technically possible, but very. I'm not going to say it's not going to say impossible, but the 4-4 teams very unlikely that you'll win this conference. These two here possible, but I mean honestly, a lot on how much longer they're going to have a huge advantage going into that. So because they play each other in week 10. Pay Calvin His Money, I think, still plays one of these guys too. A lot of, I believe, I might be mistaken. I am mistaken. Pay Calvin's Money played him this week. That's what it was. Hey, have a good one, buddy. Love you. Have a good day, son. All right, so we go down. Kirk Lazarus Conference, similar concept here. We have 2 6-2 teams. We have 3 5-3 teams, though. And then we have 2 4-4 teams. Golf and Balls and the Apache Chiefs. Now, this is important to note that Golf and Balls played Apache Chiefs this week and won by 0.5 points. Oh, my God. A half a point separated them. Now, Golf and Balls completely controls his own destiny because out of the 3 teams that are 5-3, 2 of them he has yet to play. Kakambas, FarmersOnly.com. He also has password as Taco in there, who is 3-5, but he is a former champion, folks. So he's got pride to play on. He can go for points. So Golf and Balls has a tough road to finish out this year as he plays 2 teams in the hunt and then 1 defending champion. Or not defending champion, former champion. Apache Chiefs, on the other hand, they have 1 of these teams to play yet. Never mind, they have them not because they played them this week. Damn it. They play Super Original 3-5, J Footman Can 2-6, and Mo Tunny Mo Problems 4-4. So those 3 games may seem meaningless, but they're certainly not meaningless to the Apache Chiefs as they need to win out. They need to win out and have a little bit of hope because by losing to Golf and Balls this week by 0.5 points, they have lost that tiebreaker. So it's not just those 2 though. If people lose, well, if Apache Chiefs win out and Golf and Balls loses 1 game, then yes, the Apache Chiefs would have the series, the division. If Apache Chiefs lose a game and Golf and Balls loses a game and these guys win, then there's obviously a ton of variables that can happen. So these 5-3 teams are still very much alive, especially FarmersOnly.com and Kakambas, who both still play Golf and Balls. And one of these teams actually beat the Apache Chiefs. I'm going to look and see who that is just so you have an idea. Was it FarmersOnly.com? Was it Kakambas? Was it Cloacal Kiss? Cloacal Kiss in week 2 beat the Apache Chiefs. But Kakambas and FarmersOnly.com both lost to the Apache Chiefs. So that's why it's going to be tough for those teams to have a chance. I'm not officially ruling them out, even though mathematically they may be. We'll do that next week when I have more time. Ron Burgundy Conference, we have 2 6-2 teams in Tips and Tricks. Dominic Mulkey, and then Tom Farmer's Zeke's Relationship Corner. He's always there at the end. He's always there. And then we have 2 5-3 teams in Low Hanging Fruit, Eric Hester, and Nantab Knights, good old Michael Myers. Halloween is over. Time for him to focus. If you look right here, his first game, once Halloween was over, he won. Just saying, he might have been distracted doing other stuff. We have a slew of 4-4 teams that might still be alive, especially my Balzac hurts because of the point situation. We'll talk about that in a minute. Stafford's Bastards, Game of Jones, Chubberts, and Better Bring Your A Game. Weapon X himself, 4-4. So those are good. Those 4 teams still alive in some capacity. We're gonna look at this right here, Tips and Tricks. They have to play Stafford's Bastards, Chichki, and Honolulu Blues. Tips and Tricks versus Zeke's Relationship Corner. They beat them. Obviously, it's why they're ranked higher than them. But we look at Zeke's Relationship Corner. Who do they have yet to play? They still have to play My Balzac Ertz, Nantab Knights, and Cheechki. So 2 of those 3 teams are 4-4. So Zeke's Relationship Corner can do some real damage. And if you look at this week, he beat Honolulu Blues by 0.3 points. Oh, my God, that was close. You got to realize that's like, I don't know. What is it? I don't even know what the score is. 6 rushing yards, 6 receiving yards, I believe. So he didn't win by much, but he won. That's the important thing. So that's how that works. And then in terms of the 5-3 teams, low-hanging fruit and Nantab Knights. Let's take a look at them real quick. Low-hanging fruit beat Tips and Tricks, so that's big. Low-hanging fruit beat Zeke's Relationship Corner. So even though he's 5-3, he has the tiebreaker on both of those teams. So that's big. Still has to play Honolulu Blues. That doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter because they almost won. Chubb Ertz, that's another Dom Valenti team. And Nantab Knights, they're 5-3 squad. So that game at the end of the year could mean a lot more than it means right now because they're both 5-3. But low-hanging fruit, even though they're 5-3, have beaten both of the teams above them. And the Nantab Knights, I believe they lost to Tips and Tricks. They have not played Zeke's Relationship Corner yet, and they have not played Nantab Knights. So Nantab Knights also control a lot of their own destiny. They would need a little help, but they could still do it. With those many teams playing each other, I'm going to say the 4-4 teams are probably out of the contention, but we're not doing the math yet officially. Now, we get down to the Jeff Spicoli Conference. This is where it gets a little bit tighter here. Holy shit. There are 3 6-2 teams. Brady's back up with a critical randomizer. Oh my God. And now there's a 3-way tie at 6-2. Brady's back up. Lost to Miss Orange Man Hot Wife this week. Giggle is riding a 6-game win streak. Don't worry about the other thing about Michael Myers not being able to focus during the Halloween season because he's obviously won 6 games in a row. So that's great. And then there are 3 5-3 teams too. I'm just going to say it right now. This conference way too close to call. This is like election night. Way too close to call. We'll be compiling data for what are we 7 months into it? Get the people in Arizona on the horn. See if they can make any sense of this. Let me ask you a question. Is the single 4-4 team? I'm going to say he's probably out of it. The 3-5s definitely are 2-6. Winnie Cooper, I'm sorry, man. That's between Winnie Cooper and the Clockwork Elves, they have 3 wins between the two of them. Those are the 2 teams that were in the finals last year. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, yikes. That's brutal. I just realized that. But yeah, that conference is super close. This one here is a little interesting too. Whispering Eyes, one of these conferences with a 7-1 team. Sag Nasty's notch above top notch is 1 game out. Aiken for a ship just here so I don't get fined. Paul Wallenwine, still alive here. I'm going to look at Whispering Eyes against these teams here. Sag Nasty's notch above top notch almost got doubled up by them. So they have, Whispering Eyes still have to play Helmets on 98, 4-4. Concussion Protocol, 4-4. Aiken for a ship, 5-3. That game in Week 11 could be huge. Week 11 is the best fantasy football gets. It's just like college football. You get down to that final week, all kinds of stuff can happen. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Hello. All right. I don't know what just happened there. Something went crazy. Hello? Okay. Something went crazy. All right. Let's see. Where are we at here? Oh, yeah. Whispering Eyes have that big game in Week 11. Sag Nasty's notch above top notch. Let's see what they got going on here. Aiken for a ship, huge game. 5-3. Freedom Fighter, they're done. Concussion Protocol, they're pretty much out of it now since they have a 7-1 team in this conference. But losing to Whispering Eyes could be brutal for them. But Aiken for a ship. If you look here, Aiken for a ship. This is Rob Aiken's team. This is huge. You are 5-3, right? That's what you are, I believe. Yep, 5-3. Aiken first ship. You might think, well, you know what? I'm 5-3. There's a 7-1 team in my conference. I'm out of it. Look at this final 3-game stretch for them. Playing Sagnasty, playing New Orleans, who technically is out of it, but I mean, still, he's a good owner. He will play. He will not give up. And then playing Whispering Eyes. So the 2 teams above him, he is yet to play. So Rob Aiken, listen out loud, listen proud. You need to win out. If you win out, you have a significant chance at winning this conference, even though you are 2 games behind right now, because the 2 teams you are yet to play are teams who are above you. So don't mail it in yet, Rob. I know you wouldn't, but by the way, where we at? Never mind. So Brody Bruce, we've got 99% luck, 1% hard at 7-3. Hernandez Hitman 6-2. Steel City Sackers, Hockenstein, Fly Eagles Fly, still 5-3. Rocky Keeling here. Let's see what we got going on here. He is yet to play the Donkey Punchers, Tallywhackers, and Double C's. So 3 mediocre franchises with phenomenal owners, though. 2-6, 2-6, 3-5. That's the worst you'll ever see these 3 owners' teams, I guarantee you. They will not mail it in. They will submit lineups, especially Cody Cole there. He's going to be looking to knock off this guy. But relatively, in terms of the records, easy way out. Has 99% luck beating these people, probably. You've only lost 1 game. Who'd you lose to? You lost to Fly Eagles Fly, which could be a factor as we get closer to the end, because Fly Eagles Fly 5-3, 3 games left. They win out. They're 8-3. They lose out. They're 7-4. Yeah, they could go 1-2, and Fly Eagles Fly could still come in. So any of these teams still alive, in my opinion. And then we get down to the Rod Kimball Conference, the conference that we've said all year long was going to be the bread and butter of this league. And if you look right here, number 1, number 2, when it comes down to the end, number 1 and number 2 are in this conference, with number 19, Ryan Frazier, fresh off his loss this week to my son, which is cool. Falls to, 5-3. Now, here's the problem with this, okay? I'm going to tell you the problem right now, Cassandra, who just walked in. You need to know the problem. The problem with this here is what I'm about to show you. Number 1, number 2. Oh, my God. I hit the wrong button. Hit the wrong schedule link. Okay. What? So, DeWians. You play. This week, you play the aforementioned Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Number 19. And an absolute must-win game for Frazier. And an absolute must-win game for you, too, Gary. Because unlike, was it last year or 2 years ago, where you wrapped up your conference in like week 9 or something, you need to win these games, because if you win this week and Brian David wins this week, then we're looking at the greatest matchup in the history of MUSL happening in week 10 next week, which is number 1 versus number 2 with 1 week to go. So this is the problem with this conference. These 2 teams still play each other in week 10. So, oh man, get your popcorn ready. But before you even get to that, DeWians needs to beat Ryan Frazier's squad, who is in desperation mode, and he will be bringing the hammer. The problem with the hammer is you don't know if it's a, craftsman quality hammer that can hammer in nails like it's nothing, or you don't know if it's a Doc McStuffins toy reflex hammer, because you can't have Patrick Mahomes get started and score -1 points or whatever he scored not too long ago. That's the problem this year. You don't know what the hell's going to happen. So I would say, under normal circumstances, look out. But this year, all bets are off. Because, man, that Patrick Mahomes week was weird. That team does not look all that great anymore, by the way. I don't see how anyone's going to beat either the Rams or the Bucks, by the way. That'll probably be the championship game, I hope, for NFC. Otherwise, it's a shame. Although the Bucks did just lose this week, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But unless Phillip Rivers comes out of retirement, I don't see what the hell's his name. I don't even know what his name is. He's such a scrub. Didn't even play that game. Concussion guy. Oh, my God. Whatever Drew Brees' backup was, it came in every once in a while. He's such a scrub, I don't even know his name. Not Jameis Winston, but the white dude who just runs. Anyway, so I'm drawing a blank. So that's where you have that. Now, as I said before, another thing we're going to talk about here is, and especially for new people, the standings are important when it comes to determining playoffs. Everyone who wins their conference gets a bye in the first round of the playoffs. So that is a critical piece. That means it's a week you don't have to play anybody. If you can win your conference before the final week of the season, you get multiple weeks. But I don't think that's happening right now. These conferences are way too tight, with the exception of maybe this Whispering Eyes one, the Frank Drebin one. Or no, sorry, these two here. Whispering Eyes still play Sag Nasty and Notch Above Top Notches, I believe. So, yeah, that one is definitely not over. No, they don't. Never mind. Whatever. I don't know. I just went over a lot of information. My brain's fried, okay? Anyway, to get in the playoffs, I'm going to bring this up every week for this week until the finals here. To get in the playoffs, there are multiple ways you can do it. Number one, you win your conference, you get a bye. You're obviously in. And then the next X amount of spots go based on record, which, depending on the number of teams, can vary from 6 to 12. And then there are teams out of the teams that are left who get in based strictly on the number of points they have scored in a year. So you can be 2-6 and have a shit ton of points and still make the playoffs. That's the way it works. It is a way that keeps everyone interested all year long. And honestly, sometimes people just get unlucky. Like, who was it that scored like 98 points and lost? I think it was Chichki maybe. You score in the 90s and you lose. That's just bad luck. But you're scoring good, which means you know what you're doing. So that's why we have a few spots that are determined based on the number of points. Now, here's what we're going to do. These are the point standings. Right now, Zeke's Relationship Corner has the lead in points, 714.97. He's also 6-2. You have that many points, you're going to win some games. DeWyan's is second, okay? All these teams here have good records. Now, what gets interesting here is you look at Better Bring Your A Game and My Balzac Ertz. These guys are 5th and 6th in points, but they're 4-4. You get down to the Wagstaff Whalers, a team that was inherited by, what's his name? Doug Belcher, Brian Belcher. I don't even know what the hell his name is. Mr. Belcher, we'll call him. Hence the name. He is 3-5, inherited just a shit show, and has submitted amazing lineup since, and now he's 6-59. He is in the playoff hunt, people. Chichki, the aforementioned Chichki, 2-6, and he's 10th overall in points. Are you kidding me? And same with Ted Lasso's Biscuits, another team. You know, these teams are 2-6. Honolulu Blues, 2-6. You know, take your vaccine show. So these teams, 641. I'm going to say anyone who has, I don't want to make that call yet. Brooklyn Brigade, another one, number 21. But if you take out, you know, these guys are going to be out. And then this guy's going to be out, or we'll say, because they make it in based on record. These two are going to be out. This one's going to be out. I mean, you've got a lot of teams here that you don't have to beat everybody, because some of these teams are going to get in based on record, you know. So the difference between Cloacal Kiss at number 9, or let's say Brooklyn Brigade at number 21, and the difference and Better Bring Your A Game, when you take out all these other teams, there's only 30 points. There's 3 games to go. So I'm going to say if you have 600 or more points, I know it sounds crazy. I'm going to say if you have 600 or more points, you still have a shot here. You know, because, I mean, that's only a 66-point gap. You know, and that's 3 weeks. That's 20 points a week. You have to outscore these people. I mean, you can do this. So if you are any of the following teams, do not give up. Especially these teams at the top. Better Bring Your A Game, My Balzac Ertz, Wagstaff Whalers, Digger Phelps, Cheechki, How Long Until Biden is Arrested, Steel City Sackers, Ted Lasso's Biscuits, Take Your Vax and Shove It, Honolulu Blue Balls, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, Cloacal Kiss, Brooklyn Brigade, A Lot of Stafford's Bastards, Let Me Ask You a Question, Golf and Balls, The Fabulous Baker Boys, You're in Trouble, Mo Tunney, Mo Problems, Low-hanging fruit. How much longer will liberalism be legal? Honolulu Blue Balls. Nasty Nutria. Pay Calvin's money. Hernandez Hitman. Sag Nasty's Notch above top notches. Tenacious D. Chubberts. Kakambas. Fly Eagles Fly. Just Use Don't Find. LP Rails. I did not say my team or my wife's team, unfortunately, or my son's team. We are not having a good year. Where's the clock? The Clockwork Elves 489. I've even scored more points than them. Oh my god. Yeah. These teams, under 600 points, it's possible. You know, I mean, even if you go down to 62, 560, that means you're outscored by essentially 100 points, 104 points. That's still only 30-some points a game that you have to outscore these other guys by. It's not impossible, people. So, these last few weeks is when you see what are normally referred to as super lineups, because teams get desperate, and it becomes a very interesting scenario because the teams that are vying for playoff spots based on record, they feel like, well, I should be conservative, so I have these players in the playoffs. So the problem is, a lot of times, they're playing teams that are throwing in super lineups to try to get in on points. So it is a very, very peculiar situation for everybody to be in these last 3 weeks. This is why all bets are off when it comes to this stuff, which is why I've always said this league, if you want to compare it to anything, you can't compare it to any other fantasy football league. The only thing you can really compare it to, as I've said, how many times, Cassandra? What do I compare it to? What do I compare this league to in terms of knowing football versus not knowing football? Oh, yeah, that's right. The NCAA tournament. That's exactly what I compare it to. Good job. Yeah, so NCAA tournament, knowing a lot about college basketball will get you further than someone who doesn't know anything. However, at the end of the day, there's a lot of luck involved. There's a lot of just randomness involved. And to get to this point at the end of the year, especially these last 3 weeks when you are number 62 in the nation, you still have a chance to get in based on points because you can submit whatever lineup you want. So look out. People at the top, don't coast. No matter who you are, you never know what's going to happen. Ryan Frazier's Kryptonite submitted a super lineup. Still lost. So, I don't know. He's his own Kryptonite. I've said it 100 times. Anyway, we're at 27 minutes. This has been way too long, and I didn't even talk about half the shit. So we'll talk next week. Get your lineups in. And, I guess go Rams.